Welcome to the Happiness and Meaning of Life show. I'm your host, Marilyn Tam. Each show, I interview a person of accomplishment who is living a life of meaning and purpose and happiness. Each one is following their own path. We'll learn their insights on creating a joyous, purposeful, and rewarding life. You can learn more on how to have a happy, healthy, and productive life of meaning and purpose on my website, marilyntam.com. Welcome. Welcome. Today, my guest is Bill Shireman. He's the president of the nonprofit Future 500 and co-founder of In This Together. He's an environmental activist, a social progressive, a free market enthusiast, and a lifelong Republican who is committed to finding common ground between different perspectives. Bill has built alliances between companies like Coca-Cola, General Motors, Weyerhaeuser, and Mitsubishi, with activists like Sierra Club, Greenpeace, World Wildlife Fund, and Global Exchange. Bill is also a lecturer at the University of California at Berkeley, Haas School of Business on leadership and negotiations. So I am just so eager to hear from Bill how he can put all this together and maintain some happiness, because I'm sure there are people from all dimensions who's thinking that he's got rocks in his head. So welcome, Bill.
Thank you. Thank you.
So tell me, what makes you happy? What is happiness to you? Because you're doing this for something bigger than just being a popular. You're doing this for something bigger.
It's not the path to popularity, I have to tell you. I mean, what makes me happy is doing what I was, strangely, completely unable to do when I was very young, which is to connect with people and connect people together. Mm-hmm. And I've discovered that is a skill, a deep skill set that I've developed over time out of necessity, because, very, very early, and I know a lot of kids, feel this, and maybe we all feel like, well, I feel it more than anybody else, but I felt like when I was young, I could not connect with other kids. I could not, I had a few close friends, but when it got to be more than two people that I was with, I just could not do it. I couldn't engage with groups of people. And anything more than one person or two people, it's like my mind was overwhelmed and I just couldn't do it. But I found that because I felt like I was an outsider, I also empathized with all other outsiders. And so my role in groups over time became to always include who's not in the room. And always just intuitively notice who's not represented, who's not there, and bring their ideas into the room. And it always, irritates people because there's this psychology of groupthink, when it seems like most people are programmed to pretty quickly and unconsciously understand what the group thinks and then go with it. And I'm repulsed by groupthink. It just completely repels me. And so I always feel it necessary to be the one that raises the objection to groupthink. So if I'm in a room full of conservatives, I'm raising liberal and progressive ideas. If I'm in a room full of progressives, I'm raising conservative and liberal or moderate things. Just my role. And I love that. And I feel it's my mission. And I will do it even if I'm not popular.
So being happiness for you is basically bringing in the other perspective.
It's connecting parts to become wholes. That's what it is.
So this really ties into probably what is your meaning of life, right?
Yeah.
Would you add anything to that when I say, how does it relate? Or is that it?
I think I wrestled with that for decades, and I feel like I feel happy now because I'm grateful, because I get to serve, and I find myself blessed with the opportunity, with the contacts, with the resources with the knowledge, with the strategic capacities to bring people together at a time when people are more intensely divided than we have been as a nation in almost 200 years.
Mm-hmm. So what makes you happy? Because all this sounds very deep and trying. So what makes you happy? What's one thing that makes you happy?
What's one thing that connecting with a person, connecting with an individual? I love that. So connecting and feeling that I am connected and that I'm adding something of value to that person, and that person is adding something of value to me, that together we're more than we can be apart. That's happiness for me.
So now that you've got this big goal, what would you like to be remembered for? Because you've got, as you say, 8 billion people on your shoulders.
Yeah, I know it's a lot of work, but fortunately there's 8 billion of us all with each other on our shoulders. So I think that now we have a greater need for connecting people than we ever have before. So if I can be a force for that, for connecting, and for me it's the political right and left. I want to connect people from the cultural right and the cultural left, and the cultural masculine and the cultural feminine. I want to connect them together so that we can create the new culture that I think is trying to be born right now.
So what you're saying is that you want to be remembered for having done something that is lasting. And what you see as lasting is making something that is more connected for everyone.
Yeah. And I think very specifically, I would love to be remembered for introducing the left and right to one another, progressives and conservatives. I would love to be remembered for causing them to see, appreciate, and love each other.
So what advice would you give to someone who wants to be happier? Because you have a very definite path you're following on, and it may not be for everyone. What advice would you give to someone who wants to be happier?
Yeah, authenticity, self-discovery, inquiry. We're all born in this really strange situation. We're a species that for 6 million years, we lived in little tribes. We didn't really know how big the world was around us. And we knew about 50 people or something. And that's for 6 million years, that's where we are. And every tribe had some singers and some storytellers and some medicine people and some spiritual people and some really smart mechanics and engineers and a whole community there. And everybody had a space to be really proud and really important to the whole. And now we're thrust into this world with 8 billion people, and we feel like, well, I've got some mechanical skills, but I kind of feel like I'm one in a billion. Like, why am I significant? Why am I important? Everybody has these gifts, this uniqueness about us. And my belief is for anyone who's looking to be happy, to keep finding your core, yourself, keep looking for yourself, and then express it in what you do, wherever you are. Express your authentic self.
That's so core, I think. And because, as you said, so many people are afraid of not fitting. And because of that, they give away parts of themselves to fit in.
Right. And to be the same as everybody else. And then they're automatically gone because none of us are a stereotype. None of us fit our identity categories.
So to be happy, be you.
Be you. Yes. Be you. And act on it.
Being happy and having a life purpose is something we all want. And what you're bringing to the table right now is the big picture, how we are part of something that until we realize that we have an opportunity to be authentically ourselves, and in that place, act from there and shift the whole dynamics of what's going on.
Yeah. Doesn't take very many people doing it, you know.
So any other thoughts you want to share with the viewers as a last padding?
You know, we're a part of a life force. I think most people feel that, you know, we're part of a larger life force. When I think about, you know, the finiteness of my own life right now, and I think that, you know, there is an underlying life force that extends into everyone. I'm not sure we really are different people. I'm not sure that there really is a different person out there. I'm not sure there really are 8 billion people out there. I think life is there, and it pops up and expresses in all these different ways. And if you look at it that way, then the me that's me, whatever that is, has probably popped up millions of times before and will pop up millions of times in the future, and maybe is already popping up, you know, 8 billion times right now. So I think that tells us that our sense that we are bigger than we actually are. I'm only 1 out of 8 billion. And a lot of other people are saying like, I'm only 1 out of 8 billion. How can I be significant at all? That may not be true. There may just be one. And you and I may be it. And everybody else too. And so maybe our lives aren't so meaningless. Maybe we're learning to be good and learning to be ourselves and expressing ourselves. And that being calm about that is a path to happiness and oneness. And this is a life experience that is unique. You know, this life experience of mine is unique. It's cool. It's fun. So enjoy it.
Well, thank you. It's been mind expanding to talk to you as usual. If people want to find out more about your work, would you give them your website?
Yes, our website is, I'll give you 3 websites. They all, you know, all part of one, right? It's the Trinity or something. But inthistogetheramerica.org, that is our group of groups to bring people together across all of our borders. EarthX and earthxtv.org. That is a television network that shows us how all life is connected. And future500.org. That is our entity to bring the business and environmental community together as a whole, that masculine and feminine, so that we can solve environmental problems around the world.
Well, thank you, Bill. As usual, even though we don't talk, I do see you on social media.
I see you all the time. I feel like we're still in connection. So, you know, and we are. So, yeah.
So we'll keep connecting. And thank you so much for your wisdom and insights today.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it, Marilyn. Appreciate you and what you're doing.